Keller Williams Command brings the agent operating system and the consumer operating system together seamlessly.
Command organized everything for me and put it in one place.
When you have dominion over what you've got at your fingertips, it gives you the opportunity to grow. I was always moving between these different applications,
but none of them talk to one another. And as a result, there's lost clients, which means lost dollars.
A spreadsheet for my finances.
We had 7 or 8 different logins.
A spreadsheet for my showings reports, for my listings, my price adjustments.
It was a big time drain.
Our goal is nothing short of reinventing how people experience real estate through technology and making sure that you're the owner of that technology.
We wanted to build a platform that would connect Keller Williams agents all over the world. This technology was built by agents, directed for agents, and ultimately created to make your lives better.
We really took time with each one of the applets, getting to know how it could help us in our business, and Designs was huge because it eliminated that Canva expense. We templated what is our brand going to be, and now everything is branded, it's succinct, it takes seconds to create new listing, under contract, just closed.
We use the campaigns dashboard a lot. Within the campaigns dashboard, we can send direct mailers out to neighborhoods that we farm. You just choose like an area, or you can say 123 Main Street, we want like 250 mailers to go out for just listed within a 5-mile radius, or you choose a radius. We also use the campaigns dashboard to set up social media ads and pay-per-click ads to not only be in our hyper-local area, but also farm outside to gain more territory.
The way people are shopping for homes has changed. Everything is social, everything is on the phone. So if you can't be on the phone and them have direct access to you as their agent, you're losing. You can tell a real estate agent built this app, and that's what I appreciate. If they find a property within the app and they want to ask about it, it goes directly to you.
It's a really great way of being able to connect with your client if you're using the same platform together, and I can see what they're accessing, what's interesting them, when they're clicking on things, when they're opening things. So it helps me also be more efficient how I'm working with my clients.
With smart plans, I'm allowed to set it and forget it. I don't have to worry about clients falling through the cracks.
It keeps track of things that we wouldn't otherwise think of. My clients' home anniversaries, their birthdays, the things that build that feel-good relationship with your clients, it automates. And so it makes those touches so much easier to keep track of and to make happen.
So what's really neat about Opportunities is that it will track that lead and that business through the process, not just track it in terms of steps, but also the math behind it. Every step of the way, as I get closer to a closing, I'm starting to realize those dollars. And as someone that knows pretty much every CRM out there, I've never seen this before.
For me as a team leader, I use the Opportunities dashboard the most, just looking at the numbers and seeing where we are. Conversion rates,
Average commission, we're tracking what our sales price is.
GCI, probable income, potential income, all those things are things that I'm looking at, and then ways to lead generate, ways to get more listings, ways to get more business within the team.
I can make smart business decisions based on where are we going to spend more money, where are we going to cut back, and it's all right there in one spot.
So like Gary said, when you know the right numbers, hitting the mark becomes the entire focus of the team. And so for us, when we want to know our numbers, we look at the reports dashboard to make sure that we're on track.
I could see what's on my agents' dashboards, but then I could also see how they're interacting. I could see where they're winning. I could see where they're not winning, and I could coach specifically to what it is I'm seeing. If I see a number of appointments being set and a number of appointments being held, but no listings being taken, and I have a tool that exposes that deficiency, what should I be coaching or training around?
Command has simplified our lives on the back end of running a team with a lot of moving parts and pieces and human capital. It's allowed us to go to one place to get the answers that we're looking for in almost every single facet of our business.
The cost per lead is ridiculously low. If I was spending $3,000 before, I can spend like $150 or $200 now. It's been like 95 cents a lead on Command.
One of our CRMs, we were paying as much as $2,000 a month.
I could take the money I was spending on a CRM and I could support another family by hiring somebody full-time into our organization.
We were able to cut our expenses by 50%. So moving to Command was just like a no-brainer. We can save money if we go to a free platform versus paying for one or two, right?
We
We've leveraged the technology within Command and allowed for that to enhance our business.
From A to pay, it just simplified everything.
You could tell that this was made for agents by agents.
What Keller Williams Command does better than any other system out there is it keeps you relevant and it keeps you right in the middle of the transaction, and it doesn't let any detail slip by.
Real estate is about helping people with one of the most fundamental aspects of their lives, home. And you are the expert they turn to. And not just when someone buys or sells, but before, after, and all the little spaces in between. So it can be frustrating when you don't have the time or technology to know when someone needs your help. And when you miss that opportunity, it creates a gap that someone or something else can step into. So let's close that gap and give you the time and technology you need to build high-quality relationships with more people. Let's join forces and demand our technology not replace us, but help us be more human, more present, more everything. Let's take Command. Built exclusively by and for Keller Williams agents, Command is your do-it-all, do-it-quickly, people-centric, less stress, more time, end-to-end platform to grow your relationships, your pipeline, and your market share. Whew! Luckily, using it is a lot easier than explaining everything it does, but let's give it a try. Organize, customize, and sync all your contacts. Group them however you want. Know exactly who to reach out to, when, and about the things they really care about. Send personalized neighborhood-centric just-in-time marketing materials in a snap. Have more conversations, build more relationships, earn more business. Say, "Hey Kelly," and escape from your desk in the office. Add a new contact, log notes, and sync everything while on the go. Seamlessly and transparently source, send, and manage referrals through one of the world's largest and most profitable referral networks. Deploy an ROI-maximized ad campaign across Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter in like 30 seconds. Integrate the systems and tools you already use every day. Automate paperwork and background tasks. Access real-time revenue projections, end-to-end ROI insights, and goal tracking to get a bird's eye view of your business. Have more conversations, build more relationships, earn more business. Command empowers you to be a better agent by giving you more time, more value, and more freedom. And best of all, it ensures you and your relationship with your clients remain at the heart of real estate, where you belong.
We don't get it right all the time. Nobody does. Sometimes we fail, but we fail forward. A couple years ago, we started reworking the Command app. We discovered that we had real AI all along. Agent intelligence. You told us what we did wrong, so we could work to make it right. And the only way to truly get it wrong is to give up. But we didn't give up. We hired the best to make the best. We kept building for you. We broke it down, we beefed it up. We went mobile, baby. And now that it's ready, we're not finished. Let our competitors say pencils down. It's not just about where we are, it's about where we're going. And we'll keep building the platform to go anywhere that you want to go. More time, more education, more contacts, more connections, more insights, more integrations, more on the go. More simple, more success, more results, more referrals. More leads, more listings, more leverage, more wealth. More human, more often. More MREA. We wrote the book on real estate, and now we've built the tech. A bigger and better network, so you could build yours. We transformed the technology from worry to works, from From bugs to business, from doubt to double down. This is where she who controls the lead controls the industry. Take control of your database. Take control of your leads. Take control of your money. Take back control and take command. This is now an app with a fiduciary interest, an app that makes your fight personal. This is an intuitive real estate machine that learns, corrects, improves, anticipates, just like entrepreneurs. Built for agents, by agents. This is pure Keller Williams, made not just to keep up with you, but make you faster. Take ground, take command. This is the place, and this is the technology, built for entrepreneurs to thrive. We did more than make it right. We made it us. Onward.
Whether you're a leader or agent, KW Command enables you to manage and grow your business through one powerful integrated platform.
A typical agent spends more than 60% of their time away from their desk. That means you have to be able to take your business wherever you go. The Command app makes it possible. When you are on the go, everything you need is right there on your phone.
You can access and manage your contacts, respond to new leads, prioritize daily tasks, and manage your opportunities, all within the Command app. Tasks are the backbone of your day. Within the Command app, you can easily add and manage tasks, then see a clear snapshot of what needs to get done when.
So your to-do list is always up to date and prioritized.
The Command app makes tracking contacts and leads easy. With built-in integrations for texting and calling, including Twilio and WhatsApp, you can effortlessly log a call or text, then instantly view it on your contact's timeline.
There is a reason Command Mobile has a 4.8 out of 5 rating in the App Store.
The Command app makes it easy to build, foster, and maintain relationships with your sphere of influence. You can assign a lead to a smart plan, add tags, and create notes, so you'll always remember what's important to your clients. You can manage your opportunities and always keep your pipeline updated. In-app and push notifications ensure you won't miss out on anything important.
Plus, the app makes it easy to manage read and unread notifications and to set reminders.
You'll always be in the know and ready for action whenever and wherever you get new info, like seeing who's requested a tour or who's inquiring about a property. Like we said, we're serious about helping you thrive.
With the Command app, everything you need is at your fingertips.
Command was created to help entrepreneurs like you thrive. Whether you're a market center leader or agent, KW Command enables you to run and grow your business through one powerful and integrated platform. We built Command around Gary's proven laws of lead generation. Build a database, feed it daily, and communicate with it systematically. It's all about being more human, more often, with more people. We want you to thrive in this market and capture your unfair share of every market. That's why we help you generate more leads for less. Using Command, you can upload your contacts and start a high-impact marketing campaign without spending a dime. You can run targeted ads across media channels, including Google, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok, with just one login. In Command, you can create one-off listing campaigns or always-on recruitment programs with push-button ease. No marketing expertise required. You'll do in 9 minutes what used to take 9 hours. And at less than $3 a lead, you'll pay a fraction of what everyone else in the industry is paying. Save time, save money. Sold. Like we said, we're serious about helping you thrive. For streamlined lead gen, it's all right there. Friends, it's time for you to take command.
morning. Good morning, Jonathan.
Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning. Is JP here already?
Yes,
Good
he
morning.
is.
Good
Yes,
morning,
he
everybody.
is.
Hello. Hi. JP. Good evening. Good evening. It's 8 o'clock in Austin.
Yeah, thank you
Yes.
for having me. Love it. Love
Yes.
being here.
What a way to end our 2024 with a super special guest all the way from Austin. We miss you here since September 2, since our big event, right?
Yeah, it was so great to see everyone in person. This will be a good substitute, but nothing beats being together in this business.
Yes, and we're very fortunate today because you're gracing or you're honoring us with your presence today with this. Time just passed quite really fast. Well, we didn't even notice that it has been 6 months since Jonathan started the series here in the Philippines, and he's now very well known here in the real estate industry here in the country. And I think all of us were able to get value from all these learnings, which helped us in one way or another in our respective business, whether they're from KW or just joining KW or just even outside, as long as they're friends in the industry. So, and I know that a lot of people made very well during this quite challenging 2024.
Yeah.
And a lot were challenged as well. So I think it will be very important to learn from both of you today how we can not only survive, but thrive in the coming year, 2025.
Yeah, it's been a very tough 24 in most markets around the world, including the United States. So I'm optimistic about 2025 because we know this business is cyclical, and what goes down comes back up, and what goes up comes back down, and that's the journey we're all on in this business. And it's an amazing opportunity to right size your business and to really focus on the fundamentals that work and hit 25 really hard.
Yes. So, Jonathan.
Yes.
Welcome again. And
Yes.
We're excited to learn from both of you today.
Sure, thank you. So I thought of having this because I had a conversation with JP last week in one of our real estate agent event where there were 400 over people came online, and everyone was very curious to understand how does real estate agents in the US do it at a very high level. How can they still be not only surviving but thriving in these markets? Just as what JP said, like that the whole world is going through a challenging market. However, we still have agents thriving in the US or any other markets. And we're having a conversation, I thought maybe we should have this conversation here for the people in the Philippines to really understand what are some of the fundamental things that agents in the US are doing correctly or are thriving at a high level. And I remember people like Lance Stoker were doing like 3,000 transactions in one single year out of the area of most of it in Texas. So how do these people do it? So I thought maybe having JP on board here today will be a good conversation because he has experience interviewing and talking to all these people around the US and also outside of the US as well. So I thought his feedback to us and his observation and his learnings will be a very good added advantage to us. So thank you, JP, for joining us today.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me. Is it okay if I share my screen, John?
Yes, please go ahead.
Yes, please do so.
Awesome. Let me bring this up. I love going back to the fundamentals. This is my 20th year at Keller Williams, and I've gotten to see at least 3 major shifts in the real estate industry. And in the last 10 years, I've gotten to see that go across the world like a wave. You can watch it happen. It happens in the United States, typically from California and Florida, and it comes in. And then from the United States, it kind of washes across the world economically. And I've seen some amazing and interviewed hundreds of individual agents, thanks to this book that's on the screen here. And so many of them use these opportunities to go back to the basics, back to the fundamentals. So, John, I can talk a little bit about how you set up this conversation if you'd like me to jump right in.
Please go ahead. Go ahead. Jump right in. Go ahead.
So I love this because the world, as Gary Keller teaches us, the world wants to make everything complicated. It wants things to get complex. And so do we as humans. It's just a natural byproduct of having all of us on one rock spinning in the earth or spinning in space. And the best thing we can do is simplify things down. And that's what I love about this image here. This book, to John's point, was built off of interviews of the very best agents in the industry prior to 2003. And since then, Keller Williams has become the #1 company in the world under one brand because the best agents in the world follow those models because they're still timeless and proven. Now, we wrote another book I would recommend you all look at 4 times like 2024 called Shift. And those are the 12 tactics that top agents do to tackle tough times. Now, those are more timely tactics and they're more specific, like around how you amplify your open house efforts to show property and bring potential buyers in, or how you bulletproof the transaction because you want to protect every transaction you have and get it to the closing or to the finish line because every transaction matters in a shifted market. These fundamental models on the screen here are what top agents do in the United States right now. It's not more complicated than this. They focus on leads, listings, and leverage in that order. Very simply, when you are a top performing agent, you have one of 2 problems. You don't have enough leads to support the business and the income that you want to make, or you don't have the right leverage to convert those leads into business or to manage the business that you do have. Those are the only 2 issues that top producing agents really have. It's really true for all agents. So you really want to simplify this down and ask yourself, if I want to do better than I'm doing today, do I have enough leads? If the answer is no, and that's the majority of us in the industry, then we need to go focus on the one thing that drives everything else forward in our real estate sales business, and that is lead generation. You need to really look at what am I doing to lead generate and what's working and what's not working, and optimize your plan for 2025 to get the right amount of leads that will convert into the income that you want. If you do have enough leads, then you probably have a problem with a person that you're missing, or you might have a system or a tool. And those are the 3 things you need to have leverage to service and convert the leads that you have. So it's one of those 2 issues. So this triangle kind of represents a way to think about that. You need lead generation first, that's the foundation. Then you focus on taking listings. Now for us, that's exclusive listings in the United States and many markets where you can get exclusive listings, because we know the listings and our signage and our marketing in the marketplace will help bring additional business. But if you don't have that, then you can absolutely think about, for buyer agents, they focus on agreements with buyers to exclusively help them buy. So it doesn't really matter market specific, but you want to know what type of business you're focused on. And then third, that's when you've earned the right to hire or pay for leverage in your business. That could be a person, a system, or a tool to help you scale or grow your business. But it only comes in that order. Now, around that, you see a circle, and this is new, and this will be in the 2nd edition of the book, which is yet to come out. So you're seeing something most of the real estate industry has not seen yet. And it's a truth that we've seen since 2003 in our research, that top agents all have these 3 elements in order to go drive their business forward. And one is they know their unique value proposition. 2 is that they have a service plan to actually implement and deliver on that value proposition. And then 3rd, although this is the most important, is that you have an actual database of clients and people you know, and more importantly, people that know you and that know you're in real estate. That database, like we like to call it a data bank, is your business. And we have a very common phrase in Keller Williams, and I want you all to internalize it, and it is, your business is your database. Because without a database, you're just a service person helping people buy and sell real estate, and you're transactional. But when you have a database, you have an asset you're building, something that has value, that at the end of your career, you could merge with someone, you can sell it, it has value. It actually is an appreciating asset. So building, nurturing, and growing your database is the most important. And so top agents all focus on those things. Now in the middle, you see some of the ways that we organize the book, and that's really just understanding that if you want to grow to a certain level, whether that's 1 million or whatever your number is, it doesn't matter. You need to first think with the right mindset to be able to do it, to believe you can. Then you need to go earn $1 million, so you understand what it's like and what production levels need to earn that amount. Then you actually work on managing your expenses to net that amount, meaning take it home with you. And you're seeing two new categories in the second edition where we talk about receiving and giving. And that just means taking the money you do earn and take home with you, putting that to work for you through wealth building opportunities, earning passive income, real estate investing, things like that. And then we've got so many top agents in our company that love our culture and they give back to their own community that we have agents setting goals to give away $1 million USD, for example. And that's the journey a lot of our people are on. So that's what is represented in the triangle there. So John, that's kind of a good base to sort of set up our conversation. And I think that is really the core answer is at the bottom there. Lead generation and nurturing their database is what top agents do, especially when times get hard.
Right. So again, I will ask you the same questions that I had in Malaysia, which I think it's relevant here. Because there's always this other school of thought saying that, hey, I need to focus on how do I become better at closing the transaction, work on skills first, because the leads will come eventually if I don't, but I need to have the skills first. So where do you see this I won't say tension, but this extreme both parts of this spectrum, right? What's the balance here? Because you need skills, you definitely need skills to go lead generate, but you need leads. Is the leads more important or is the skills more important?
No, that's a great question. I don't see that this industry slows down for us to get perfect in our skills before we take action. So in my honest opinion, I've seen that top agents succeed by what we call failing forward. Now, that does not mean you don't go get training. And Keller Williams is the best company in the industry across multiple industries, and we're award winning on the training that we deliver. We are fundamentally a training and consulting company that just happens to be in the business of real estate. So trust me when I say you should go to training. However, we believe in activity-based training, learning for earning's sake. So what that means is every chance you have, get into a training environment and into partnership or mentorship with other people in this network. So one of the best things, and Andy alluded to this a second ago, having you both in Malaysia and now working with the Philippines, having our regions fly into each other's regions and support each other. That's how Keller Williams grew to as big as we did, because we all leveraged the network to learn and grow together. It's not about KW teaching from the company office. It's about all of us learning and growing. So you need to go lean into those environments, and you need to take action in those environments while you're learning. We call it real play, meaning I'm not just looking at you, John, as a role model, as a top agent and following what you've done. I should be asking you questions. I should be learning from what you've done. I should be going to the trainings that you and other leaders are putting on, but that's you role modeling it for me. In the classroom, we can then role play with each other, and you could do that in the classroom, and you should be doing it with agents that you are close to or that you're friends with in the market center as well. And so many agents fail to do this. I did for a long time. I was worried about how weird it would feel to call up an accountability partner 2 or 3 times a week and script role play with them on the phone. I did this with Wendy Papazan during our Bold class that we took together here in the United States when my wife was part of her real estate team. We called each other and we practiced our scripts and handling objections. And as awkward as that is, it helped build our skill so that the next time I picked up the phone to lead generate or to call for a recruit as a leader, I was ready to handle those things. That was skill building. And we fail forward through that by just taking the action, learning from what went well and what went wrong, and we move on. We don't have the time to get so perfect. We've got to go actually take action and start lead generating. The great thing about this and the secret weapon of lead generation and frankly recruiting into our company is asking really great questions and reminding yourself it's not about me, it's always about them. This person needs to buy, sell, or invest in real estate, or they might know someone that does. So rather than sell them on me or my skills or something about Keller Williams, I should almost entirely just be asking them questions about them, their family, their situation, so that they feel seen and heard. And then they're going to naturally start to trust me to be the person to help them during this big financial decision they need to make around buying or selling real estate. And that's the simple trick that top agents learn. And they realize I don't have to have all the skills. I just have to be a great listener, make sure I understand what these people's needs are, and then go back and help them as a guide and a consultant on making a great decision about this transaction.
Okay. Based on your observation, based on your experience in looking at top producing agents in the US and around the world, what are some of the simple things that they do on a daily basis in terms of how they run their lead generation program or how they run their lead generation efforts?
Yep. I'll use a couple of slides to answer this, and there's many things, but one of the things that Jason Abrams has done as part of Gary's leadership team is to interview some of the best top agents. And if you haven't already, this conversation can go very deep in areas that you can lean into beyond this call, like the Millionaire Real Estate Agent podcast. If you haven't subscribed to that podcast, the Millionaire Real Estate Agent podcast is hosted by Jason Abrams, and there's new interviews every week, and you can hear directly from the voices of the very top agents. They also put together this playbook that many of our Keller Williams offices have access to and are starting to talk about in the market centers. And there are specific single-page tactics on a variety of topics around lead generation and database and all of that that top agents do. So it's more anecdotal, specific, and not necessarily a big model like you see from the Millionaire Real Estate Agent book. So those are tools that you should dive into. But here's a good example. One of the things we put at the beginning of this book, because it's a baseline, is doing a database assessment. If you're working out of a Google spreadsheet or just your phone or maybe a CRM, but you're really not managing your database, you just sort of have it there and you're not purposeful about it, then the first thing I would recommend that top agents do to really get their skills right is they go and they do a database assessment. They figure out the value of their database. And you know this, you just got to slow down enough and take a half of a day and ask yourself, when I pull up my phone contact record or my Google spreadsheet or a CRM, if I have one, I got to look at it and say, how much business did I get from this? You'd be amazed how many agents don't know where their business is coming from. And that's step number one. Where is my business coming from? And what's the value of that? You'd be amazed how much financial value is in this database. We're just not managing it. And then you actually focus on how you can slow your lead generation expense, because I'm sure you like most of us as salespeople, you start spending money and you forget where that money's going sometimes. Oh, I forgot I was paying for this thing for Facebook, or I forgot I was paying for this other piece, and I need to really evaluate whether that's bringing me value or not. And then, of course, that allows you to start increasing the quality of your sphere of influence touches, improving your conversion rates and the frequency of the touches that you're doing. Because awareness is the first step. And then lastly is you inspect what you expect. You just start reviewing and thinking about it from the terms of, how is my database? Have I added somebody to my database every day? And that should be a goal for all of us. So a simple thing I'll say on this, and then we can move on to some other ideas, is that there are 4 laws of the database. You need to have one. So if you're sitting here going, I don't really have a database, I guess I do with my phone, or maybe I synced my contacts to Google once and I haven't looked at it, that means you're on step 1. Have a database. And that's the first law. The second law is that you feed it every day. We're in the business of being in real estate. That means it's most important that people know we're in real estate. So go out into the world, wherever you are, and let the conversation of real estate come up. Obviously, it can come up purposefully, and I think you should all be purposeful, but make sure it's authentic and not a sales pitch, but more of a conversation to help people know that you're available to help them with the business of real estate, whatever that might be. And that's a naturally easy thing to come up in everyday life for all of us. On the phone, in person, on social media, you know how to do that. And you use that as an opportunity to get to know people, make sure they know you and that you're in real estate, and then put them in your database. So law number 1 is you have to have one. Law number 2 is you feed it every day. Law number 3 is you communicate with it in a systematic way, meaning you're purposeful and systematic in saying, how often do I send emails or WhatsApp messages to people in this database? How do I do that in a way that becomes habitual? Because that's where you start to create a simple system. And now this database starts giving you leads. People start contacting you saying, hey, I actually am thinking about moving, or buying a property, or my family member is moving and I thought of you. This is just the issue of staying aware, keeping them aware of who you are and that you're in real estate. And then the fourth law is simply to service the leads. We got to actually do a good job when that happens. So that means you need to be prepared to service the leads that come in. And we all certainly do that. So that's where I think top agents start, John, and then it goes into a whole other area of how do we deliver value here, and that's really through this sort of value model that Gary and Jason and Jay Papazan have been teaching to, especially since COVID and during all of the changes in the industry. We really need to get clear as an industry about how to communicate our value and deliver on it.
Right. So just back to the lead gen journey, because I think a lot of agents, from my observation in Asia specifically, are always looking for buyers that wants to buy today. They're always willing to pay leads, and for lack of a better word, I don't like to do all this system stuff. I just want to pay someone some money and get me a lead that is ready to buy tomorrow, right? But in reality, that's really not the best way in general, but from my perspective. And also, I think it's very expensive to do that. How can we change the way we think about this? What have you seen agents who are trying their best to buy leads, but to somehow transit into this journey of wanting to adopt this systematic approach in building the database?
Yeah, let me share. I'm going to do something dangerous. I'm going to draw, and I'm a terrible drawer, so forgive me. Let's see.
You didn't go to art school, so we'll forgive you.
Yeah, it's not my strength, but let's see if I can do something that we speak to around this issue, because it is a common issue in all markets, not just in Asia, but in the United States too. Can you see that whiteboard?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, here's my terrible drawing. Okay, so we're going to look at this, right? So this is real estate. This is the journey we're on. Not only the market goes up and down, but our relationships going up and down. So here we are with that person you just described, John, the buyer who wants to buy today. I paid money, especially to portals and others, to get me this person, and there they are, and I closed a transaction, and I'm just going to do a big check mark. Yay, I closed the transaction. Okay. Now what happens? We disappear from their life, and they are down here because we moved on and we fell out of relationship. This in the United States, the next time that person buys, which is the top of this little mountain, that gap between here and here is about 7 years. So we just ignore them because I got my transaction and I don't ever need to talk to them because they're all the way down here. They're not going to buy again until they get up here. So I'm going to forget about them. And more importantly, they may have liked me. They may have want to use me again or refer me families and friends, but they have forgotten about me and who I am and and certainly the company I work for, but definitely they could have remembered my name, but they don't. That is the issue right there. It's that gap that causes agents in the United States, and to your point in Asia too, to go, just get me the next one. Just get me the next one. Now, if that's what you choose to do, that's okay. If the question is what are the very best agents that are thriving and doing more business than anyone else, especially in the United States, what are they doing? They're closing that gap right here. They are dealing with this issue right here, and they're doing it in one simple way. They're saying, I'm just going to stay in touch with this person right here in a systematic way so that along this journey until they buy again, they are always thinking of me because the individual is worth so much more than this one transaction or another transaction 7 years from now. Their family, their friends, their children, their colleagues, their work colleagues, their boss, their employees, people they live in the building with, people that they run into on the street, like everybody they know, if they had a good experience with you and you just simply stay in touch with them, is potential business for you. Now, why is that important? Because that, I'm not going to say it's free, but it's certainly a lot more cost effective than paying for your lead generation from another source. So Gary Keller, who's the best student in the world on this, will tell you that agents have a simple choice. You can market and prospect And in those two strategies, you can choose to pay somebody to do that for you, or you can do it yourself. Paying for your leads is a perfectly fine choice. Just understand that by paying for your leads as the majority source for your lead generation for your business, you have effectively turned your business over to someone else.
That's right.
Because the lead generation in your database is your engine to your entire business. So when you choose, and we talk to US agents all the time about this, and to give somebody else power and control and your money over how many leads you get based on how much you pay them, they are driving your business. Just be clear about the decision you're making. Doesn't mean you're wrong or it's bad. It just means you're choosing. Just be clear that you're making that choice. It's okay if you make that choice. Top agents certainly buy leads from portals, but they understand that puts the portal in charge of their business to say, well, now it costs you this much per lead. And today it's cost you this much per lead. And I decide how much money you spend to get the same amount of income that you want. Agents that choose to take back that control make sure they get the majority of their business from repeat and referral clients, and they build a simple system for that. And the problem is the agents don't want to do it. It feels complex in systems, and I don't want to do that. I get it. So what you have to do is focus on the one thing you will do and do that. Some people love social media, so they do that. Some people are really good at sending email campaigns. The very best agents simply do one thing. They time block in the morning, at least an hour, some as much as 3 hours per day, to call the people in their database, not to sell them something, but to say, I wanted to stay in touch. I really enjoyed our transaction. I hope the property or the home is doing great for you. Is there anyone else you know that might need help? By the way, how are you doing? Is there anything I could do to help you? I work with many people in this community. There's people I know. Maybe perhaps I could connect you with someone if you need anything. And you would be amazed how many times people will say, no, we're great, but they're just so happy that you checked in on them. And there's lots of great scripts for those things, but that's the simple activity they do. And you will not believe how many people want to work with you again and refer you other people, but they just don't because they simply forgot who you are.
Absolutely. I love it because I think the idea of surrendering your faith or the fate of your business to someone else that potentially may charge you or maybe disrupt you, right? At the same time, it's such a risk. And the idea of us doing simple things, just to your point, that 1 hour a day. Like if you have not learned anything today, guys, just that 1 hour a day for the next whole year. Every day, you're just going to call someone in your database just to ask those few questions that JP just asked. And if you do this consistently, time over task, I think all of us would have a very, very different business.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. Same thing in the United States. It's not complicated. There's no magic button. If there is a magic button, it's the picking up of the phone and actually calling people that you have in your contacts database and just checking in on them. And in an appropriate way, before the conversation is over, saying, by the way, while I have you, you know I'm in real estate. And even if you haven't worked with someone, you can say that. It's certainly fine. And I just always want to make sure I'm able to help people. I'm in the largest real estate company in the world. We have over 200,000 people in it. So I can help you with anyone, no matter where they are in the world. You can say that because you have a network of 200,000 people around the world. So you can help anybody. And there's referral money in that for you. So there's value in saying that. But more importantly, you're letting them know I'm in real estate, and I just always want to make sure everyone knows I'm here to help if people need to navigate what can be a very complex transaction. So is there anyone you know that might need help thinking about or actually taking action on buying, selling, or investing in real estate? That's not even a great script, but that's generally the idea. And you can do that. The agents that simply do that, they have consistent business coming in from their database, and that's very cost effective. That's prospecting. And of course, they do spend money on marketing and other things, but they don't all put their entire business in control of one source. They diversify their sources, but the database is the heart of it.
Right.
And something they own, and that's an asset you can sell later. If you want to retire, agents do sell their databases to other agents. You could sell it to a tech company portal if you wanted to, especially if it's been nurtured and tagged and properly managed. My gosh, that could be a multi-million-dollar asset.
Right. So the goal is to go out there and talk to as many people as you can. Eventually, the right people will come to you because you just talk to so many people, and you bring you right perspective, right positioning. That the ready ones will just come after you because you are already setting up that process to in place.
Too many of us are secret agents. Don't be a spy. Don't work for the government and be a spy. Be a full-time, well-known agent. Just let people know you're here to serve. It's how we actually improve our reputation. It's how we share this value that we talked about a second ago. And it's how you actually bring a lot of people to you. 89% of buyers and sellers in the United States, and this has been consistent year over year for my entire 20 years in Keller Williams, 89% of buyers and sellers say they would use their agent again. Guess how many percentage-wise use the same agent in their next transaction?
10, 12% maybe.
It's 12%. Last number I saw, and it's always around 10 to 12%. It's exactly right, John. That is not because they're mad at them. It's because they forgot who they are.
Exactly.
This is like name 3 soft drinks or sodas that we drink, right? People say Coca-Cola, maybe Pepsi, Sprite. After that, you start to forget. You can't think of it. Name 3 real estate agents. Now, we can all do that, but think about the person you just last did a transaction with. If somebody asked them, name me 3 real estate agents, if it's been a year or two since they worked with you, would they remember your name? Would they know a second or a third? Probably not. So all we're saying is don't build a complex system. Don't overthink it. Just stay in touch with the people in your database. And if you follow the 4 laws, you've got a database. You're adding people to it every day, just 1 or 2 that you meet in the grocery store or on the street or in the subway or on the train or in an Uber, whatever, or a Bolt. It's better. It's good. All right. And then you can communicate with them just consistently. And of course, you're always already servicing your clients. That's it. That's what the top agents do.
It's very timely actually right now because especially now in the Philippines, although especially dealing with project selling, they tend to think that real estate or online marketing or online lead generation has to be boosting. And the cost of generating leads has been increasing every single day. Because the problem there is that if you know how to boost 100 or 1,000 more people are doing the same thing, the same market, same defined audience. So you don't really build your brand, and you're just one of those disruptive ads that pop up, right? So you don't really connect with your clients, and it costs a lot. So this one, the use of the database, especially now, this is actually a big eye opener, I think, for most of those who are listening here, how to really value their database.
Yeah. It's an interesting thing because the whole world's moving online, and we've seen the data that shows, almost 100% of buyers and sellers in the United States market, and I believe that the data is true in Canada as well, they find the property and they certainly begin their search online. Right? Yeah. However, the percentage of people that use a real estate agent has grown. People thought it would shrink with the advance of technology. It's actually grown. And I'm a firm believer that there's a few reasons why. One is in the information age where there's so much access to information for all of us, there's just more confusion. Because now I can learn almost everything I want about the marketplace by going online. And now instead of having answers, I have more questions. Because now I have more information, and more information means, okay, now I have a lot of choices. And the irony about choice is that it actually doesn't make you happy. If you only could pick between vanilla and chocolate ice cream, you're going to make a choice, and it's scientifically proven you'll be pretty happy with your choice when you leave. But when you go to the ice cream shop and they have 31 different flavors, you worry you're leaving a good choice behind because you have so much more choice. So choices don't exactly make our clients happier. And all this information confuses and adds more questions. And therefore, who are they looking for? A trusted, skilled fiduciary to help me answer questions. So what we have found is top agents, they absolutely respect and acknowledge portals and data out there on the internet has a strong place, and everybody should be looking at it. But when you're looking for all these properties, would you rather be fed to someone you've never met before by the portal, or would you rather call up or text or email the agent who's been staying in touch with you, who's been talking about the real estate market on social media, sending me email that has real value, or even making a phone call to check in on me? These are the simple things where I'm going to say, I'd much rather call that person. This is how we find doctors, lawyers, tax accountants, anybody important to our personal or financial future. We tend to find through referrals, friends, family, or people that have stayed in touch with us. We don't typically trust whoever we find on the internet. It's just a human behavioral thing. So all we have to do as real estate agents collectively is stay in touch with people. It doesn't mean you don't have to spend, or you're not going to spend money, or lead generation isn't important online. Absolutely it is. But the hack, the simple trick top agents do is they just stay in touch with their database. And they leverage social media and portals and paying for leads as they choose. But they get to choose. They're not forced to say, well, I got to give up more of my money, because that's what these portals are doing to our industry. They're trying to get in between you and the client to take more of the commission. Zillow now can take as much as 40% of an agent's commission in the United States, called a success fee, because they'll find the lead, they'll qualify the lead, they'll even get them set up for a mortgage. And because of the nature of this industry, those clients still want to work with a professional agent. So Zillow has to still turn them over to an agent. And that agent typically gives up 40% of their money, because it's a qualified lead, an appointment that's ready to go, and the work's been done. If you want to run your business today, that's fine. Just understand you're choosing, and remember how much money you're leaving on the table, because top agents typically don't choose to do that.
Right. Awesome.
It's not bad. It's just different.
Right. Let's switch gears a little bit. Let's talk about the circle. Let's talk about the circle, because we always talk about the triangle, and now there's a circle coming in with the MRA 2.0.
Let's talk the one on the first page.
Right. Let's talk about this concept of value proposition. What does that mean?
Yeah. In fact, we'll unpack that on this slide here, where we're talking about the value model, right? The value proposition is simply, what is my unique knowledge, skills, experience that I can communicate as my proposition of why you would work with me. Now, my wife listed and sold for 10 years, and hers became her ability to help investors make great decisions about real estate investing. Single family homes to rent out, flips to buy, rehab and sell, and those kind of things. So typically within the agent community, she was able to win business with clients by explaining her experience of being a real estate investor together as a married couple with me, and also working with other investor clients, because she enjoyed doing it and it was a natural strength she had. She was good with the math, and she understood how to think about it unemotionally, and she helped her investors think about transactions unemotionally, so they made a good financial decision and not an emotional one about buying or selling the property. And so that was something she would communicate, and she practiced communicating it clearly, because that was her value proposition, specifically when she met with people who might know of or have investors that they could refer to her, right? So that's just the idea of like knowing what my value is. Now, we all have different values. It could be that you've lived in the community for decades. It could be that you're young and energetic and you have a fire to help people because you're just beginning your career, and you can talk about the value that you bring as fresh eyes. I'm tech savvy. I'm all these things that maybe other agents aren't. Whatever it is for you, just get clear about it and be able to communicate it. As you can see here in the value model, you've got to be able to establish and build trust. Well, where does trust come from? Well, that means you've demonstrated your knowledge, skills, and experience, first in meeting with them, and then probably through your consistent follow-up. To be quite honest, I think most of us give trust to people who do what they say they're going to do. And the best way to start doing that is to say, I will contact you on this date. And then when that date happens, you actually contact them. And then when you start delivering service to them, you can see how that goes. The next is they want to see that you provide fiduciary representation. That means you're always thinking about my best interest. That's just saying, okay, I told you this was the value I have. Now I'm going to deliver it to you, and I'm always checking in, asking great questions so that you know my job as an agent is to represent you. And then there's all the things we know. We provide core services. This is what we do. We deliver client experience. That's how we do it, because we can all help somebody buy a property. How do we do that? How do we show up when we meet them at the property? How do we show up when we meet them in business or at the first initial meeting to understand what their needs are, do a buyer consultation? How do we do it? That matters. Some agents make it feel like a world-class experience, like I'm walking into a doctor's office or to a lawyer's office, because they take themselves very seriously and they see themselves as a professional. So they choose to do it in a very robust way to make it a wonderful client experience. Others don't. So it's just, what do you want to do? How do you want to do it? And then lastly is the very top agents, to try to win repeat and referral business and stay on top. They are surprising and delighting their clients with little extras. That gift after the transaction, the thing you remembered they told you at the first meeting, and you surprise them at the end by letting them know through a gift or some sort of acknowledgement that you heard them that first time talk about how important this particular football club is for them, or maybe this particular area that they're moving to and why they were moving in the first place. These little moments where people feel seen and remembered and respected are ways that we can surprise and delight clients. Our luxury agents do this very well. They typically model the type of experiences you see in luxury resorts and hotels like the Ritz-Carlton or the Waldorf Astoria. You start to look and study these businesses, and you'll be amazed how they'll do little things like, when you walk up to the check-in counter, I already know your name. And I know which room you're going to be in, and I can tell you all these things as if you're a VIP client, right? These are all the things we do to create value. But we first have to start with the value proposition, and that just means being able to communicate it.
Yeah. So, because this industry it's really driven by a lot of personality, right? There are a lot of personality, right? There are a lot of divas, and we have so many of them. That's kind of like being very loud on social media and all that. And sometimes it's hard for us not to think about how can we become like them versus what can I become, because sometimes we are just not like them, right? Because I'm not good at doing videos. I'm not good at doing walkthroughs. I can't speak like
so don't start there. Don't do that.
Start there, right? So you should start from our strength. How do we do then? Where do we start, right?
Yeah. Start with what you're good at, right? My wife was an athlete at university, and so she had played golf. So while agents on her team were not comfortable with luxury agents or investors, it wasn't just my wife was good at math and good at the numbers. She also understood what it was like to be in a country club.
Right.
For some people, that is very new. For me, I did not grow up that way. I would not be comfortable and know how to speak to high net worth people when I was in my early 20s. I was not exposed to that. My wife was. So she could lead generate with high net worth individuals. So luxury and real estate investors made sense. It was easy for her to do that. She is she's better now, but she was very uncomfortable with social media. So she did not do a lot of social media. That wasn't her strength, but she was amazing at a cocktail party or at a country club social or on the golf course. She could go golfing with somebody and she would have the three people she was playing with all want to buy, sell, and invest real estate with her because she's good in person. Now she's become amazing on social media, but she would not start there because it was uncomfortable for her. Right. So you just have to decide, what's my thing? If you're very uncomfortable on the phone, maybe you're better in person. If you're uncomfortable in person, maybe try calling. If that's really too hard, start with texting.
Right.
Reduce the friction. There's no right or wrong. You'll notice in the Millionaire Real Estate Agent book, we have a whole model. We have 4 models. And the first one is the is the economic model, which decides how much money we want to make and how much activity, like appointments, do we need to make that money. Once we know that, now we got to go lead generate to get those appointments. Well, in the lead generation model, there are numbers of different, I think it's over 24 ways to market yourself and a whole nother set to prospect for business. We don't prescribe which ones you should do. We just prescribe that you should do it habitually every day, because that's what the top agents in the research showed, that they all did it. What they did in how they marketed and what they prospected, the things they chose to do, like I just described, were all different and all over the place. They still are today. There is no one right way. there's this consistent trend that Andy's talking about that is happening where we're all going to portals and doing the easy thing, which is turning over money to get a lead that's already qualified. And that's fine. Just understand the cost of that. Besides that trend, everyone else is doing different things. Some of our agents have gone back to print media because everyone moved to social. Some have moved to social and off of print media. Some are doing calls, some are doing texting. It's all based on their personality and their preference and where their strengths are. I say follow your strengths. And where you're strong, then you're going to get more and more confident. And then you're going to bring in other things that give you the courage to try them out because you never have, like video or social media and other things.
Right. That's the reason why I give up becoming a YouTuber. So it doesn't work for me. So
me neither. I was always better behind the camera than on the camera.
It doesn't work for me. Okay, let's move on to the next one, which is service plan. Tell us a little bit about what's service plan.
Yeah. So service plan is really right here, 3, 4, and 5. Meaning you're going to get found out if you're saying a bunch of things and then you don't actually deliver on them. So the question is, if you know your value proposition, what is it? Can you deliver on it? So for example, in my wife's case, if she's talking to a high net worth individual who wants to build their wealth through investing in real estate and having rental properties, well, she better be able to sit down and actually say, when I do this property analysis with you, I have a spreadsheet template that we use. I know how to explain it to you and I can walk you through it. It's still their decision about whether they buy or sell on the property, but she can at least consult them so that they can then go make a great decision as a real estate investor. If she couldn't show up, meaning what she did was she showed up with the property analysis form. How she did it is she walked them through it, which gave them the understanding of, oh, she's done this before. She knows what she's doing. She's answering my questions along the way. And she's also allowing me to make the decision. And so I feel empowered and not judged, but also supported in making this decision. And then the little extras might be, a little surprise. We didn't always do that, but as top agents grow, they may choose to add in a little extra. But really, the service plan is all how do I actually deliver on this in a repeatable way? Because so many of us, especially when you're starting out, you're just serving the client and responding and reacting to things as they happen. That's going to happen. That's always part of our life as a real estate agent. But the challenge is, the more you get systematized on like, okay, I've dealt with these objections before. I've dealt with these kind of transaction challenges before. Here's a little document that says what we do when this happens. Now I've got the beginning of a service plan.
Right.
When I have this type of client, we do this. And it doesn't have to be complicated, but it's a matter of just making sure you have a plan in place on how you're going to deliver on that value. Does that make sense?
Yeah. So a simple thing could be I will have a commitment to all my listing, all my clients that list with me, that I will update them on every single viewing that happens.
Yeah, exactly.
After review, hours. Yeah, there you go.
Because you could promise it, right? There's the promise. We communicate better than any team in the city. Well, what does that mean? Well, it means on every Friday, you're going to get a message from me of a recap of what happened for the week. Every time there's a viewing, you're going to get all the feedback that we can collect from that agent or their clients or their potential buyers, and you're going to get that day or within 24 hours or within 48 hours or whatever your promise is. The service plan is just your system to be able to deliver on that. It could be as simple as something in your calendar. It could be a virtual assistant. It could be AI or some tool that you use that helps you stay on task with your to-dos. It's just being organized enough to say, I don't just organize myself to lead generate and run my database, but now as we work with a client, we have systems to make sure that we have repeatable checklists of how the transaction goes so that we know these basic things are done. If you do that, now you maybe have the opportunity to say, well, where along that way could we surprise our people? And that's where fun comes in, but you can always do that later once you get a service plan in place.
Right, awesome. I don't know about you guys, but how many of you are learning something today? If you're learning something, please press 5 on the chat box. If you're learning something, please press 5 on the chat box. Yeah, we got a lot of people learning something today. What are some of your ahas? Any thoughts, Andy, after listening to this simple but impactful conversation that we have here?
Yeah, I mean, at this point with the kind of market now, your personal brand to your client's mind is what really matters the most, because everybody tries to get your attention. Okay.
Yep.
Then your brand, you should be when people think of an agent, they should only think of two agents: you and others. Your name first.
Yeah.
So it's only
You're
going
the
to
only
be
one they know, probably, and that they'll remember your name. That's exactly right, Andy.
Right. Anyone
You
with
and
any
others. I love
ahas,
that.
any ahas, any questions they want to put on the chat box, please put. A lot of people saying that they look focus on your strength, which is good. I think there's a lot of relief because sometimes we try to become people that we are not, and we normally behave. We normally don't act at a higher level when we are doing something that we are not supposed to.
Yeah.
Like we're not
It's
meant to do. Right.
comparison is the thief of joy. Comparison is the thief of joy. Don't compare yourself to other people. The only comparison in real estate as an agent you should make is, oh, they seem to be calling their database more regularly than I am. That's probably a lesson for all of us. What they're saying, who they're being, that is all unique to them. Don't compare yourself to how they're showing up, but if they are showing up for their database and reminding people, I'm here if you need help with real estate, that's probably a lesson for all of us. But how they show up, don't copy that because it won't be authentic. What human beings want is authenticity. That's the foundation of trust. We'll close with that in just a second, but I want to show you these two slides. Just remember, at least in our market, and I think it's true in every market in the world, if I'm selling a property, just remember this is what they want. And when you know what people want and you don't forget it and you internalize it, they will feel it from you. And we as agents need to know a seller always wants to net or receive the most amount of money with the fewest amount of hassles in the least amount of time. That's my goal. That's why they only care about what we call the net sheet. How much am I going to make after all the fees and everything are gone? Show me what I'm going to make when I sell this property. What do buyers want? They want to find the right property. That means right for them, not the one you want them to buy. They want to find the right property that meets their timing needs and get it at the best price with the fewest amount of hassles. This is what buyers want. So if we just remember that's what they want and we become the ambassador for them to get what they want, they will refer you your friends, family. This is what we call becoming their realtor or their agent for life. I want to sell houses to you, your kids, your grandkids. I want my kids to sell your house, kid. Like it's this idea of like this can be a business that goes on generations if you stay in relationship. And then lastly, this is how you become irreplaceable. I won't read all this to you, but here's the point. And this goes to what Andy's saying. If you want it to be you is the one they always think of and everyone else is just everyone else, then the way you do that is you give them something useful or needed. Because if it's useful or needed, it's relevant. What we mean by this is most marketing is not useful in the real estate industry and it's not needed. It's just look at me. In the United States, we're the worst about it. We think we're useful because we give them a little fridge calendar magnet. It's got our picture on it and they put it on the refrigerator in the kitchen. And maybe it tells them the schedule for the school or the local football team or something like that. That's fine. But when you really understand your database and who's in there holistically, the type of people you're attracting, you start thinking about how do I show up for them in my emails, my newsletters, my phone calls, my social media posts with things that are useful and needed. Something that a story we tell is one of our leaders was coaching the agents to stop sending us things that tell me what I need to do to fix up my house during this center. It's winter time. It's time to do this to fix up your home. Don't do that. Send me a coupon or a discount for the local service provider that fixes those things in my property during the winter season and remind me that it's you that used your relationships to get me that discount. So send me an email or a postcard with 15% off the price to do something in my home. And now you've given me something useful. And it is needed because I do need to do that during this time of year. Those are the kind of things that agents need to be thinking about because when you show up as needed or useful, then you're relevant. And when you're relevant, you're valuable.
Yeah. Because when you're not relevant, you're just noise.
That's how you stop being noise. They know who you are. And when you follow up with them in not a personal one-on-one voice or belly-to-belly, face-to-face way, when you're digital, they open your emails because they go, ooh, he always or she always sends me something valuable.
Right.
There are emails I keep because Jay Papazan sends them to me. or Gary Keller sends them to me, or John Maxwell sends them to me, because they tend to fill it with value. They're teaching me something, they're giving me something I want to read or I want to know. So I built up a habit of knowing I don't want to miss those emails. There is a lot, like all of you, that I just delete.
Right.
And maybe I like them, so I don't unsubscribe because they're friendly and I like them, but I delete their emails. I like them as a person, but I don't get anything value because they're sending me messages reminding me that they're in real estate or that they're some great person, but I know that already. I don't need to read their emails. Don't be that. Don't be the person that gets deleted.
Right. Awesome. I don't know about you guys, but I hope all of you are learning something. As we come to the end of the hour, I want to respect everyone's time because it's late for JP as well. On a Sunday night, I think it's really we're very grateful for you, JP, that you take time off.
Oh, of course. I love this. Thank you. It's an honor. It's an honor to be here. Thank you.
What are some of your last thoughts? What are some of your last advice for us before we close today?
I think I mentioned John Maxwell, so I'll say something he said. Nobody cares how much you know until they know how much you care. And we've heard that before, I'm sure. It's really, really true. The more I've been in 20 years in Keller Williams, which is the most training-based company you can ever be in, I've learned so much. It's been the greatest gift. Here's the thing that I think is really powerful, and it's called the trust triangle. And Jason Abrams introduced this to us from Harvard University. They studied what's the foundation of trust? How does trust get built? So the students at Harvard, a research team, put together a study to figure out how do you actually build trust? And it's three things. They call it the trust triangle. It's authenticity, empathy, and logic. So we talked a lot about this today. Authenticity just means show up as who you are. And I think the best way to do that is to actively listen to your clients. When you call people to lead generate, it's not about selling them something. It's about asking questions. And when you ask questions, you're showing up authentically because you're not spending your time thinking about what you're going to say or how you're presenting yourself. You're really actively listening on them. The second thing is empathy. And that means you need to really understand where they are. When somebody says, oh, my young child just went to university and we're sad to see them go, but they are really starting a new career. We're very excited for them. You really have to have empathy for what they're dealing with. And the way you show empathy is you ask relevant questions. So if I'm actively listening and being my authentic self, and then I ask them relevant questions, that tells the other person they're really listening to me. Because if you say, oh, and I have this done to me all the time, my child is off to university now. And my next question is, oh, great. Do they need a place to live or buy or sell? Or could I help them with a real estate transaction? Does that sound like I'm being very empathetic? Or does it sound like I was waiting for my chance to talk about real estate?
Right.
So I need to ask some questions that are relevant to their situation. Oh my gosh, what are they going to study? Wow, are they going to be able to come visit you? Are you guys going to go to them? I want to understand their family situation. The more I understand, the more I'm empathetic to them. And then lastly, what I need to say is logic. It better be logical. And what I say is that's a reasonable prescription. So I show up as an active listener. I ask relevant questions, and then I prescribe a reasonable solution, or I give a reasonable prescription. This is the doctor telling you, okay, I've listened to you. I've understood your situation. It sounds like you're having headaches regularly. I'm going to give you some aspirin. And if that doesn't work, then we'll come back and we'll meet again and decide if we're going to do something else. When the doctor says you're having headaches every day, I'm going to give you cancer treatment and let's see what happens. All of a sudden, I'm not going to that doctor ever again because it's not it's illogical.
Right.
That doesn't make any sense to me. When we show up as agents and we go, well, you better start thinking about selling your house to pay for university. You better start doing this we get so excited and tied to the outcome that we go illogical. So just remember that. Show up authentically, be empathetic, and then when you're giving them your consultation, be logical about it. What's the logical next step for them in their real estate journey? When we show up for our clients that way, I think top agents really thrive because they understand it's not about us, it's about them. And it all starts with listening.
Right.
Anyways, that's what I would say. I hope that's helpful.
The trust triangle, I know Jason Abrams has been talking a lot about it. So thank you for sharing that and reminding us all that. Guys, if you are watching here, I hope you learned something. So please share some of your ahas or even express your gratitude to JP because he has taken some time off just to be with us here today. Also, we need you to give us some feedback because we have been doing 6 months of Power Monday since we started somewhere in July, and we have not stopped since. So we are not planning to stop in 2025, but we are taking a couple of weeks off due to Christmas and all the public holidays, and we have a planning in the office in the first week of January. So we want to take a couple of weeks off, but we want your feedback. So please sign up, click on the bit.ly link for a survey. Let us know what are the topics that matters to you, that you want to hear in 2024. All right, let us know if you want JP to come back, right? Let us know so that we will do our best to bring you the best value we can so that whatever time you spend with us every week on Monday, it is going to be valuable for you. It's not something that will return void, right? So I promise that that's what our goal is here as a company, to bring value back to the industry in the Philippines. So with that, thank you so much. Andy, any last thoughts before we close?
Okay, I just want to thank you and of course JP. It's a Sunday night. I hope you've had dinner with your family already.
Oh yeah,
we
absolutely.
Appreciate this. We really appreciate this, and we wish you a very Merry Christmas and again an amazing 2025. We hope we can also invite you again next year.
Absolutely. Yeah, all of you have a wonderful Christmas holiday or any holiday you're celebrating at the end of the year, and a big Happy New Year to everybody. We know what this industry is. We live and breathe it. My wife's in this industry. I'm sure we'll recruit our children into it. We are cheering every one of you on. This is an amazing industry, and it's brought so much joy into our life. I hope it's doing the same for you. But be together with each other and with your families. Stay safe, and let's kick off 2025 really, really great.
Awesome.
Yes.
Thank you, guys. Thank you, JP. See you all later. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Jonathan.
Thanks, guys. Bye-bye.